Joining us now, Mark Livingstone, Cornerstone First Financial. It's been way too long. CornerstoneFirst.com. Best rates, better service. Founding sponsor of the John Fredericks Show. True believer. And we appreciate him, Mark Livingstone. And yesterday, Janet Yellen said, look, got a new president. Obama's not breathing down my neck. Quantitative easing, it's got to go. Rates going up another 0.25%. What's this all mean?
Well, what this all means is you're absolutely correct. This is the third rate hike since December of 2015. So what this indicates is that it's the overnight lending rate that banks lend money to each other overnight while we're all asleep. And so there's a direct correlation. In fact, the overnight lending rate is the springboard for what residential mortgages do. So the craziest breaking news is that although the Fed raised rates yesterday, John, we saw the largest intraday drop in mortgage interest rates in years. In fact, if you had me on your show 2 days ago, I would have told you that rates were the highest that they've been, the highest level in 3 years. But yesterday, as soon as Janet Yellen made her remarks, she took a very dovish attitude towards what the Fed is going to do in the next 2 years. And they said they are keeping inflation in check. They are going to raise interest rates probably 3 more times within the next 24 months. Well, the Fed or the market had already built in to the interest rate this large rise. So when Janet Yellen took the dovish approach in her speech, the interest rates dropped because the market had already put in there that they thought she was going to be a lot more aggressive. So we saw rates drop hugely yesterday, which was just such a sign of relief because you have a bunch of people that are on the fence trying to figure out what to do, buy a house, refinance, take cash out. So the interest rates came back down to levels where they are much more manageable. We were as high as 4.5% on a 30-year fixed conventional loan, and we're back down to about 4.1% after her remarks, which is outstanding. So what this means to your listeners, John, is that if they are thinking about buying a house, if they are thinking about refinancing and taking cash out, we're going to talk about that in just a moment, that we know rates are going to continue their upwards trend, but right now we're seeing a little bit of a sigh of relief in the market.
Right.
And if it's something you're thinking about, you need to get on board right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Because, look, and Janet Yellen also said next quarter there's going to be another increase, right? So this is just the beginning.
That is the attitude they're taking, that it's next quarter they're going to raise the rates again.
Right. And so they want things to level out, and they feel that the economy is getting better under Trump, right, which is part of it. So they want to ease this back up into equilibrium because everybody's got to remember interest rates have been artificially held down to get us out of the recession. But that also means there's not money for banks to lend because nobody's putting time deposits in there because they're getting a 1% return over time. So they don't have the dollars to lend out, right?
That is absolutely true. And so what happens is that as interest rates start going up, we see that mortgage applications go down and banks make their money on mortgages. So, for example, we're seeing the lowest in 8 years in applications for refinances. So banks start to feel that squeeze. So what do? They start opening up new products that are a little bit more expanded. Maybe they go lower in credit scores. Maybe they do the bank statement programs, which I've seen 3 new lenders come out with just in the past 3 weeks. And so this allows more room for more products, and because the banks need the mortgages. So it ultimately benefits the customers when the interest rates go up a little bit because there's a whole new pool of people that may qualify that didn't before.
So I know you've been working with us. You're a founding sponsor of us, and you work with a lot of our listeners around Virginia. Tell me some of the success stories.
Okay. Well, for example, last time we spoke was in November, okay, just at the election when you were up here in the District of Columbia.
Right.
And one thing I do want to say
you were at my studio there.
At that time, we offered to your listeners only that if they were to call and say they heard me on your show, we would pay for their VA appraisal. And, John, your listeners are in one of the top 4 areas in the country of veterans. And with over 24 million veterans in the United States, I think that that's a very large percentage of your listeners are veterans. And
right.
So as a thanks, when I was on in November, I said on your show, hey, you call today, tell the loan officer or myself that you heard me on the John Fredericks Show, and we'll pay for your VA appraisal. We had 2 people that took advantage of that, and I'm going to put that offer out today. Today only, if you call and you say, John Fredericks, heard Mark this morning early, I will pay for your VA appraisal. But one of those people is Lucas, and Lucas in Newport News had a VA loan at 5.25%. Well, we dropped his rate all the way down to 3.75%.
Wow.
We paid his closing costs.
Wow.
Now, Lucas also is 40% disabled. So because of that, there's no VA funding fee. And with his new loan, we were able to pay off his current mortgage of the 5.25%. We were able to give him $30,000 cash out to pay off credit cards, and then also give his daughter a graduation gift to put down on a new home with she and her fiance, who also live down there in Newport News. So we've had a lot of traction with the John Fredericks listeners. I love your listeners, man. They're educated. They know what they want. They have shopped around. They come in. They go, Mark, let's do it. I heard you on John Fredericks. I loved his show. I trust John. I trust you. And boom, we've had some great success with the John Fredericks listeners. So today, if you call and you're a veteran, we will pay for your appraisal. It's a $450 deal if you say you heard me this morning on the John Fredericks Show.
Bang, $450. Look, you get the best deals. And here's the thing. If you've got a mortgage you got from someone else and you haven't signed it, you got to go to Mark Livingstone at cornerstonefirst.com, and just see what it is, because so many of our listeners have said, look, I had a deal. I did what you said. I had it all negotiated with my bank. I didn't sign it. I called up Mark Livingstone. I saved $200, $300 a month. I got the exact, everything else is the same. I mean, it's crazy not to do this. Coupled with the fact that I've had people tell me they got turned down by their traditional bank. Then they went to cornerstonefirst.com and got approved at basically the same rate they were looking for going in. So you got to do this now. 866-625-1221. If you're in the market for a mortgage, a refi, reverse mortgage, hey, have a dialogue, have a conversation like we do. 866-625-1221. 866-625-1221. Call Mark Livingstone today. Plus, he's getting married Saturday, so he's in a good mood. So if you're ever going to get a good deal.
The other thing I want to add to your listeners is I did some research yesterday on your listening areas to see what the areas have appreciated, the housing values. So year over year, from 1 year ago, last month to last month, we saw areas in Richmond, Virginia that have seen 10 to 14% appreciation in home values. That's huge. Area codes like 23225 and 23289. In Hampton Roads, we saw an 8% increase. Chesapeake, Virginia, 8.3% increase. And so what this means to the listeners is that if they tried to refinance and take cash out a year ago and they weren't able to because the appraised value didn't come in high enough, well, then just call us. We'll run comps for free, see what your home value is, and it may now behoove you to move forward to either take cash out to pay off credit card debt, because credit card debt is not tax deductible, whereas a mortgage is, or it may behoove you, because your house is now appreciating, to get rid of that ugly monthly PMI. You know, the mortgage insurance, it doesn't help you at all. It's helping the lender. So therefore, if your house is appreciated, the lender's not going to come and tell you, hey, your house is now at a value where you don't need this. Call us. We'll help you pull the comps. We'll do it for you. And then if you can remove that PMI, which most of the times is anywhere between $150 and $250 a month, and get a lower rate, then why not? It makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. I mean, you have nothing to lose by picking up the phone. 866-625-1221. 866-625-1221, or go to cornerstonefirst.com. Mark Livingstone with us now. 110,000 people in America turn 62 every day. I'm not far from there, unfortunately. Tell us about your reverse mortgage program for seniors, because I'm going to be there in 36 months.
Really? I thought you were only like 41.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Compliments at 7 a.m. will get you a long way.
There you go. Well, yes, John, in America, 10,000 people are turning 62 years old a day. That's 10,000 a day. That's amazing. That's the baby boomers coming up. And so what's going to happen to all these baby boomers when they are, getting older? Will the Social Security, give them the lifestyle that they're used to? Well, many, many financial planners are now calling a reverse mortgage a home pension, because the reverse mortgage kind of has a negative impact from things that happened years ago before the government had gotten involved and put all these safety nets on them. And so therefore, nowadays, the reverse mortgage is gaining traction. It's for those that are 62 years and older. It allows people to stay in their home. It's for those that have a lot of equity, either no mortgage or very little mortgage. And depending on their date of birth, obviously the younger they are, the more equity they have to have, the closer to 99, because it goes on an actuarial table of 62 years old to 99 years old. And based on how old they are, the closer to 99, the more equity they can take out. And they have options. They can either take a lump sum, a line of credit that accrues interest, or they can get a monthly tenured payment, or all three. So many analysts have called this a solution to the long-term aging problem in America and are endorsing this. In fact, AARP just came out and endorsed it and said that this is a great solution to keep that lifestyle that the seniors used to.
All right, you got to give Mark Livingstone a call today. Take advantage of all these deals, save a lot of money, get the best service. 866-625-1221, 866-625-1221, or if you'd rather let your fingers do that walking, cornerstonefirst.com, cornerstonefirst.com. Final thing I want to say, Mark, is you guys do loans that you just can't get at your local bank. A good portion, you've told me, of your business are fallout from people trying to get a traditional loan from a retail bank like SunTrust, PNC, Capital One, right? You go through all the paperwork, everything done, and they come back to say no. And it's like your heart sinks and you're screwed. But you can give Mark Livingstone a call today because they do 580 to 640 credit scores. They don't make a judgment. That's the thing. I mean, people have been through some stuff, some bad stuff with the recession and stuff. They don't make a judgment. They just try to get you the best deal. Right, Mark?
Absolutely. You go to your local bank, they're not going to go below a 640 score. And we have dozens of bank representatives that when you go in there, if they pull your credit and you've got a 580 to 640, they go, hey, we can't do it, but call Mark up at Cornerstone First Financial. And so we love customers like that. And one other thing I wanted to say is that we are a lender in Virginia as well as a broker. So we have our own money. And if we can't do the loan on our lender line, then we will broker it out to a lender who we trust, who we work with, and that's what my job is to find these lenders that offer products that nobody else does. I scour the country looking for lenders that offer products that you're not going to find in your typical bank. So that's why I go on the radios and I say, hey, if I can't do it, I'm confident that nobody can. So do yourself a favor, call myself or one of my loan officers. We will go over each specific detail of each specific customer to make sure you're getting the best deal for you and your family and that you know what your options are.
All right, there it is. We're out of time. 866-625-1221, 866-625-1221, or go to cornerstonefirst.com.